Dear participants, it is very important for me to address you today. We are discussing a difficult and sensitive issue. How do we protect the victims and survivors of sexual violence that the Russian armed aggression brought against my state and people? This is the 10th year of Russia's war against Ukraine. Since the beginning of aggression in 2014, sexual violence is one of the Russian weapons of war. After the 24th of February 2022, the sexual violence that Russian combatants commit against Ukrainians became much more widespread. We are living through the worst possible cruelty. Nobody thought that a human can torture another human like this, rape, cut off genitalia, and purposefully execute prisoners. Russian soldiers showed us that it is a reality. Today, the Prosecutor General's office is investigating 321 facts of conflict-related sexual violence, but the scale of the war crimes of the Russian Federation is much larger. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the faces of the victims, but I can share 3 of their stories today. First is a story of a young woman from the Kiev region. Russian soldiers broke into the home where she has lived with her family. Her husband got shot outside. She was raped non-stop for several hours while her child was hiding nearby. Fortunately, they were able to escape to another town. The perpetrator has been identified and the case is in the court now. A girl from the Chernihiv region, she, her brother and their grandmother became prisoners in their own home when Russian soldiers decided to stay there. The commander of the Russian unit tried to rape the 16-year-old girl multiple times. He hit her on the head with his weapon and choked her to make her stop resisting. He has threatened to kill her relatives and to let her be raped by his unit. As of now, the perpetrator has been identified and the suspicion has been declared. The third story is a story of a boy from the Kiev region. Russian servicemen raped him while his mother was tied to the chair and forced to watch. The boy stopped speaking after the violence he had experienced. We all believe that Russia has to pay for all the damage caused. At the same time, in the Parliament, we are developing legislation to support those who have experienced conflict-related sexual violence. We have already passed at the first reading the draft law on urgent interim reparations to survivors of the sexual violence. These people are in a particularly vulnerable position. This is due to the significant stigmatization of sexual violence and the long-term consequences of the damage. We propose to determine at the national level the necessary amount of assistance and financial support that the survivors will be able to receive immediately. This is necessary to restore their physical, psychological, and household situation. These people were living a peaceful life until the enemy broke into their homes. This evil must be punished. Then the victims will hopefully feel that at least a bit of justice was done. All these war criminals and their political and military leadership must face the International Tribunal and the International Criminal Court. They should receive the highest punishment. This is our common task of honor for people who stand for democracy, the rule of law, and human rights. And only together we can bring Russia war criminals to justice. I want to thank all those who support Ukraine. It is priceless to have such friends. With your support and with weapons for Ukraine, our common victory and victory of democracy becomes closer. Thank you.